Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It's Thursday evening, and we all know what that means. It's match preview show, and tonight, I'm pleased to say, ahead of the visit of Bolton Wanderers this coming Saturday to Kent, I'm joined by Brian Sweeney, who is a fan of the Trotters. I'll put his details in the description at the bottom of this video. But first of all, thank you, Brian, for taking time out of your evening to come and have a chat about all things Bolton Wanderers. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks very much, Matt. Looking forward to 20 minutes of footy chat.
Exactly, yeah. You can't talk too much about football, can you? I'm sure the wives might say something slightly different. But right, let's crack straight on then. We're going to have a look at current form, home and away, last six in the league for both sides. So for the Gills, it makes a lot better reading than it did a few weeks ago. Over the last six in the league, Neil Harris's men have picked up a pair of wins, a pair of draws and a pair of defeats. So it's 8 points from 18 available for the Gills over the last half dozen. In terms of Ian Evert's men, slightly better. It's 4 wins and 2 defeats. So a little bit of inconsistency in there, but winning games. So 12 points from the last 18 available. I think if anyone offered us that over the next 6, we would be snapping off hands. In terms of home and away, digging a little bit deeper, Gills at the Priestfield have picked up recently since Neil Harris took over from Steve Evans. It is, again, it's 8 points from 18. It's 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. But we've only lost 1 in 4, taking 7 from 12 under Neil Harris. Trotters on the road, slightly more inconsistent than they are overall. Still a couple of wins in there, solitary draw and 3 losses in the last 6. That makes 7 points from last 18. So it's going to be fairly even, it looks like. Brian, we've taken 8 from 18 at home and you've taken 7 from 18 on the road.
Yep, indeed. Well, we're not been really good away from home on the whole. Especially seems to be poor against the so-called weaker teams. We got a good pasting at Fleetwood, and we managed to scrape a draw at Morecambe. So we're not great on the road, but then we went and beat Oxford 3-2 away a couple of weeks ago. So we can do it. We just don't do it consistently.
It's just a case of which Bolton turns up on the afternoon. It's interesting you say that, because I had a chat with a Lincoln fan last week before our game, and she said the same thing, that they tended to be better against the teams that were challenging towards the top and then stuttered against the sides that were struggling against the drop. And so fingers crossed that plays true again, and fingers crossed the result goes 2-0 in our favour as well. But yeah, you mentioned that draw against Morecambe. I had a look. There was a few fixtures that sort of intertwined over the last few weeks. That was one you drew with Morecambe. We've drawn with them recently as well. You beat Wimbledon quite convincingly, though, 4-0. We drew 0-0 at home, did everything but score. And you beat Lincoln 3-1 within the last few weeks, and we beat them 2-0 last weekend. So there's some real sort of comparative results that have all the makings of something that should be a very competitive game. And it was a competitive game back at the I always want to call it the Reebok, because
that
was what it was growing up. The Reebok back in November, I think it was. 2-2 draw. Jill should have won. We should have been out of sight. We were 2-0 up approaching injury time. I think it was on the last 5 minutes and got a bit deep. And I think Kyle Dempsey scored in that game, didn't he, as well, for us?
Sorry?
I think Kyle Dempsey scored in that game for us.
Yeah, he got the second goal.
Yeah.
And
then we threw it away.
I had a Gillingham fan with me at the time, because a good old friend of mine's big Gills fan. And as I said to you previously, when I lived down there, going back about 30 years ago, I went to quite a few Gills games when I couldn't get to the Bolton games. So, that was a bit of background, bit of history. But so that mate was with me, the head of the Longfield Hill Gills, and he was. We were watching that together. But as soon as we pulled that one back, he said, "That's it. You're going to at least draw or win." He had such little confidence in you being able to hold on.
Yeah, I think that was just the start of that horrendous run where we went sort of 15 without winning in the league, and I think the injury was just setting in. And I think a couple of weeks after we played you, we was playing games where we had like 4 children on the bench, because we had about 9-10 senior pros out injured, and that was one of our best results in that 15 game run without a win. Obviously, if you pick up draws and you're not winning games, then it's going to be one of the better results. But
of course,
obviously nothing to shout home about too much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday. It should be a good game. Like you say, your inconsistencies on the road and matched with us, the fact that we've picked up recently, both home and away, under Neil Harris, and become certainly a lot defensively better. We're not conceding as many goals, and should make for a good game, because you've only kept one clean sheet. I think it is in the last 6 on the road. So it's another one that maybe is another sort of factor that we can target. We've kept 4 clean sheets in 7 since Neil Harris took over, which is astonishing, because that's 4 clean sheets in 7 games. The previous game before he took over, we conceded 7 goals in 90 minutes at home to Oxford. So in terms of the time scale,
penalties.
They were all Stonewallers, to be fair. They missed other chances as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, indeed. I was trying to make it sound a bit better,
We've gone past that. It's fine. We were absolutely horrific. I think that's probably one of about 3 or 4 occasions prior to Neil Harris taking over where I was convinced that we were relegated. And, we still might not get out of it, but at least we're giving ourselves a fighting chance now. But I've said on plenty of sort of Football League shows and podcasts that we're going to have to beat a Bolton or a Sheffield Wednesday or a Wickham or a Sunderland. I think our final 2 are Portsmouth and Rotherham. So I don't really want it going to the last 2 days of the season, but we're going to have to pick up a surprise result, so to speak, if we want to get
prefer it against the Portsmouth rather than against us. Hey,
if it guarantees us staying up, then I'll let you have it. But obviously, it's not how it works like that, unfortunately, is it? We know that. Right, let's get on to Bolton, obviously a bit more specifically. Excuse me for the Gills fans. Obviously, one player that swapped the blue of Gills for the white of Bolton recently was midfielder Kyle Dempsey. I was just having a look through the games that he's played. I think he's played 7 times since he arrived. Right. And he started 4 games, so he's been in and out the starting 11. I know there was one game where he come on really early as well because there was an injury, I think. But how's he settled in? How are the Bolton fan base taken to Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, first 2-3 games, he was finding his feet within our team, within the way we play. Very Whitman-like then, and that was about the best you could say for the first 2 or 3 games. But you can see he's now started to settle in, adapt to how we're playing, seems to be enjoying it. He's played in a couple of different roles already in midfield. He's played in the number 10 role, he's played in the holding midfield role. But it's clear in the last couple of games that he's played that he's settling in and starting to enjoy it. I thought he was our man of the match in the last away game that we had. That's no great shakes. We lost, but he was still our best player. And I can see now why we wanted him so much.
Yeah, he's a very good player, and you say that he's played, sort of orthodox deep midfielder or a number 10, but he can do both. I mean, we had 18 brilliant months out of him. He wasn't up to scratch for the last part of his time with us, but playing in a poor team, subconsciously probably didn't want to get injured. I'm not saying he wasn't trying, not for 1 minute, because I don't think that's within his character. But, if a move's imminent, then sometimes there might be a 50-50 that you might pull out of that you wouldn't if you didn't think there was a move coming, so to speak. But yeah, for 18 months, he was absolutely phenomenal. He was our captain, plenty of goals, plenty of assists, works all day, will run, through brick walls. I was just interested because something come up on my timeline on Twitter a few weeks ago after I think Bolton had lost the game, and some Bolton fan had put Kyle Dempsey worst midfielder in a Bolton shirt, and you're thinking he's played 3 games.
Oh, come on! We've unfortunately we've got more than our fair share of pillocks who will just jump in feet first.
I think we've all got them. I think there's every fan.
Of course we have.
Village idiots, haven't they?
Yeah. But first couple of games, as I said, he was Whitman-like, and that's the best thing I could say about it. To be fair, but he was settling in.
Exactly,
and that's fine.
You'll probably see the best of him next season, won't you? Next season, you'll see the best of him. Exactly, yeah, absolutely spot on, yeah. When he's had a pre-season with Ian Evatt and, like you say, keeps learning how you play and how you want to play with and without the football. Talking of Ian Evatt, interesting character from an outsider's perspective. I mean, we've all seen a couple of comments that he's made this season. I think he said something back in the autumn, best team in the division by a distance, and then I think you went and lost 4 or 5 on the bounce, and it didn't really back up the comments. I think he come out a few weeks ago and said we're going to be in the Premier League within 5 years, which again is another massive statement. I mean, I like confidence and arrogance if you can back it up, so to speak, but does it not put a little bit of unnecessary pressure on your playing staff?
I think he's actually trying to take it away from the playing staff and take it all on his own shoulders, and to give them the confidence to play the way he wants to, which is a cocky, confident way. But he then takes, either deliberately or not, takes away the flak because of some of the comments he comes out with. Look, he's still a fairly young manager.
Mm-hmm.
He's first of all, he's great for Bolton. We love him. He is really, really good for us. He fits in very well, fits in with the board, the new board that we've got, and he's bringing us forward really well. He opens his gob a bit too much at times. He says the wrong things occasionally. He'll keep learning, but he'll also, he's not daft as well. He'll sometimes say it deliberately just to take away some of the flak that might go towards a team. And he'll take that on his own shoulders to deflect it from the team. So on the whole, he's great for us, but I can easily see how many other team supporters wouldn't like him. I don't
even think I was saying I don't like him. I was just curious what, obviously, like an insider's perspective was, because obviously we can only see it from what we see on social media, Sky Sports, that type of thing. I was just wondering, obviously you're in and around it all the time. You go to games. He's done a cracking job. I'm not sitting here and going to say anything otherwise. I mean, you went on a phenomenal run from sort of halfway through last season in League Two. I think you won something like 21 of your last 25 games or something crazy to get promoted automatically. You're probably going to have to win 85, 90% of your remaining games to get in the playoffs. Is that fair to say? And that's probably maybe just beyond even the greatest team in the land.
Well, yes, I reckon we're going to need to probably win 8 or 9 of our last 11 games to have a chance. And that won't guarantee it.
Just looking at the table, you're on 51 points. You've got 11 games to play, so you probably need to get to 75. So you're looking at 28 wins would be 24 points. So it's going to be some. And even then,
I wouldn't be confident that we would do it then. So yeah, we know we've got an outside chance, and certainly be giving it a good go. And we are playing very well generally, and I can see us getting close to the playoffs. I just won't hold my breath. That's all.
Trouble is, you've got to have a lot of teams to drop off above you already as well, haven't you? That's the thing. Teams that are playing as well as, if not better than you, that are already in the top 6. That's the biggest problem for any team that's trying to get from A to B at the moment, climb the table.
And there's another 3 in between us and the top 6.
Yeah, and you look at Plymouth. Plymouth have got a couple of games in hand still, haven't they, as well? So Sheffield Wednesday in there, they've only played 34. They're on a brilliant run at the moment as well. So it's going to be tough. But indeed. I was sat here 6 weeks ago saying Gills were gone, and now suddenly it's 3 points to safety. So it can be done. You only, like you say, you only need to get on a roll, don't you? I mean, I'm hoping that roll doesn't start until a week Saturday, but you go and get a good result at the weekend, confidence builds again, and suddenly you think that you can go and beat anyone. And
very much so.
On to Saturday then. Obviously, I know we're a bit early because we're recording on a Wednesday, and this will go out on the channel on the Thursday night, but I don't think there's been any press conferences, certainly not one from Gillingham, because theirs is done on a Thursday before the Saturday game. And I've not seen anything from Bolton's Twitter feed as well. But in terms of players available, injuries, is there anyone that's going to be notably absent? Or
no, we've got 3 long-term injuries, but they've not been involved now this year so far. So in terms of current players, the recent run, then no, we should have everybody available. Well, unfortunately, I'm guessing we'll be without Gethin Jones, our vice captain.
Compassionate leave. I did see that.
Passed away yesterday with motor neuron disease. It's something that the club have been, had a charity match to get money to help take her to the States and for treatment and what have you. So the club have been really well behind the guy and the family, but unfortunately, she passed away yesterday. So I would guess that he won't be available on Saturday.
I did see that come up on Twitter, actually. So obviously, from a Gills fan, and I hope I'm talking for all the Gills fan base, we send our best to him, and obviously tough time losing any parent or any relative as well. So best wishes to Gethin Jones.
Thanks.
So what's your starting 11 going to be then, Brian? What do you think it'll be? Would you think you'll make many changes? Because obviously you lost your last game, or is it a case of, trusting the players to bounce back and get a reaction?
Well, he tends to change the team quite regularly, to be fair. Because it's only now, since the January window, we've actually got a bit of strength in depth. And our bench is quite a positive bench, and they can influence the game. It was the Lincoln game, in fact. It was quite a tight game. It was 0-0 at half time. We brought our 3 subs on, and one of them was Kyle Dempsey, but one sub scored. Dempsey made a goal for the other sub, so all 3 subs had a big impact in that game. Starting 11, we'll be sticking with Trafford, even though he was the one who cocked it up on Saturday for the second goal. But we'll be sticking with him in goal. We've got our captain, Santos, centre back. Bit of a man mountain. We do like him, along with will be Johnston, and I would expect Ameson to come in for Gethin Jones.
Okay.
Then we'll have the 2 wing backs, which will be Fossey and Declan John. And then probably the rest of the midfield starts to get a bit iffy, because we've got quite a lot of players who can come in. But I would guess it'll be MJ playing the holding role, and then I'm going for, I don't know, probably Dempsey. Because he's playing yourselves, it wouldn't surprise me if he starts on the bench, to be honest.
I'll be happy with that.
Well, yeah, but then he's, come on as an impact player. But hey,
no, just leave him there. It's fine.
Sure. Well, then we'll have young Morley, who we brought in from Rochdale in January. I think he'll be starting. We'll probably have Dapo, I'm guessing, playing the number 10 role. Dapo Afolainen, he's our top scorer, 13 goals this season.
Picked him out as a danger man, and obviously the other one I picked out, who you're probably going to get to, is should be one of the front 2, I'd imagine, is the lad that arrived from Accrington in January.
Yeah, Charles has really hit the ground running. He looks a real handful. He really is one of those strikers that you love to have up on your side and hate playing against, because he's just in your face all the time.
Yeah.
And quite quick and what have you. And we'll probably have one of the bigger lads up front with him. That'll be the Bakayoko, who's got not done anything great starting, but he's been quite good as an impact sub. Again, he's got 10 goals this season, mainly from coming on off the bench. Or Bud Varson, who we signed from Millwall in January. So be one of those 2 up front with Charles, I think. But go on. I now know it'll be totally different now I've said that lot.
I'm sure you'll be fairly spot on. But yeah, I mean, from a Gills point of view, obviously plenty of names that we recognise from League One and League Two that have done well, and we're definitely in for a tough afternoon. We're going to have to be at our best if we want to get anything. Like I say, Gills' press conference has not been done, but again, we've not really got any new injury problems. I don't think, at least I'm not aware of any that came out of Saturday's game. So we'll have no Alex McDonald, Danny Lloyd. They're both out for the rest of the season with knee injuries, unfortunately. Young striker Gerald Sitole, he's recovering from a hamstring problem. I think he's about another week, 10 days away, so he won't feature. I can't see too much changing from the Lincoln win. Again, the old adage, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Yeah, so, fair enough.
The only change I can potentially see is Ben Reeves maybe coming into the starting 11 and Ollie Lee dropping out, but that's probably more me rather than Neil Harris, because I'm not a fan of Ollie Lee playing as an orthodox centre midfielder in the system that we play. I think he's better as a number 10. He's been very good as a number 10 for us the past 2 seasons we've had him. loads of goals, loads of assists. But now we're playing a back three with wing backs. Obviously, it's a slightly different setup, and I just think he gets a little bit lost in the middle of the park as an orthodox centre midfielder. So if I was picking the team, I'd go Aaron Chapman in goal. Back three's got to be the same. So that'd be Jack Tucker, Max Amar, and Connor Masterson, who's on loan from QPR and been very good since he came in. Wing backs, I can't see changing. So that'd be Ryan Jackson and Robbie McKenzie. I play Daniel Phillips and Stuart O'Keefe, the captain, next to each other. And then I'd have Ollie Lee drop into the bench, and I'd bring Ben Reeves in and have him and Ben Thompson flanking for Dane Oliver as almost like two number 10s, but almost sort of tucked in from a wider area rather than right in behind a front pair. The bench at the moment is likely to be whoever's left, because we haven't got a massive squad and we've got 3 already injured. Hopefully Mustafa Carriol's fit to make some sort of impact on the game, I'd imagine, from the bench, but very good at this level, played in the Championship, but just hasn't been fit for far too long, which is no good to us. But right, one final question, Brian. It's been really good. Really enjoyed listening to you talking about Ian Evatt and everything to do with his Bolton team. Score prediction. What's the final outcome going to be come 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon?
Well, it's a hard one, but because if we don't win this, I think we can knock the playoffs on the head. Not that I'm saying that we will get there, but so I'm going to go for a tight 2-1 win for us.
Fair enough. Got to back your own team. Got no issue with that at all.
Of course, you have.
Heart on head. I keep saying we've got to win a game against a team that we're not expected to.
Yeah.
My heart's saying
it could be one.
Gills might pinch it 1-0, but my head's saying probably 1-1 draw. You don't keep loads of clean sheets away, or in the league. We don't score bundles. So I mean, last week 2 against Lincoln was the first time we'd scored more than 1 in a game under Neil Harris. We've not scored more than 2 in a game all season long. So that tells you all you need to know about where our problems lie. So I'm going to say, sit on the fence and say final score 1 each.
Fair dues.
We shall see what happens come Saturday afternoon.
We will indeed.
Been a real pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Right, Gills fans, you know where we are. YouTube, of course. Get commenting down below on this video. If you're a Bolton fan, if you're a Gills fan, let us know what you think your team lineup will be. Let us know your score predictions. We're also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter as well. Come and give us a follow. Like I say, I'll put Brian's details in the description at the bottom of this video. Go and give him a follow. Big Bolton fan. Hopefully he'll be very upset come 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow is Friday. It's nearly the weekend. It's nearly time to have a beer or a glass of wine or whatever favourite tipple of yours. We will be back Saturday, myself and Boz, and hopefully Stocky, for a match day live at the Priestfield for Gillingham versus Bolton Wanderers. But until next time, up the Gills.